Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen vs. the World. I'm Septum Sen, and I'm here with Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And we're here to keep you informed about those upcoming nice little reviews and mini reviews for those things we know. And, of course, our anticipation as well as yours about the things about to invade our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first up this time for 11-14, this is all for the 11-14 release season, is Pokemon Indigo. Pokemon Indigo League Season 1 on Blu-ray, Viz. This is if you loved that American release of Pokemon that I never watched a single episode of, you were just like die hard for all of those special edits where they got rid of the guns and had him pointing fingers and eating donuts, even though he's clearly eating an onigiri. This is the thing for you. If you're for a very poor transfer, according to the reviews, this is for you. I've got no sentimentality for Pokemon. I never watched a single episode. I watched people play it. I've got a Pokemon game on the DS, but I haven't played it. My wife plays Pokemon Go. I've played a little bit of like one of the games. I think it was Omega Ruby or something like that, just to try it out. But I got bored quickly. But saying that as it is, for those of you who love it, this is something that you could do. I mean, in truth, there is some of that nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for instance, Sailor Moon is a good example. I actually love the original terrible dub of Sailor Moon. I'll move this over a little. I actually am. I love that original dub. It's stupid. It's corny, but I do like it. It's really hard to get. Most of them are out of print. I have the original ADV season 1 and 2. The only bootlegs I have of Sailor Moon are, of course, Sailor Stars, which I will be tossing as soon as they actually do get the American release of that. And season 1 and 2 with the terrible English dub. Again, those are probably never going to go anywhere because it's insanely hard to get that. So I understand where the market is. There is a niche market for that. Maybe it is a market. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
on the other hand, there's folks like us that are not familiar with Pokemon that would like to see the show presented the way it was supposed to be presented. I know you would probably prefer to have a nice English dub, especially coming from... but even so, a nice, well-done English dub.
Well, get rid of all those terrible edits.
But yeah. A lot of these shows were butchered in their original release, and I'm not coming to it with any sort of nostalgia, because I didn't really watch much of that growing up, but some people do. So, for those who do, this edition does come, not only all 52 episodes as, after a fashion, but it's got a 64-page manga sampler.
And a recipe card.
And a recipe card. That right there is worth the $70 price point.
Oh, of course.
But anyway, seriously, though, this could be worth a look for some people, at least.
Oh, you get
but not as much as the next one.
Yeah, you get
the next one, we actually have one that I have on pre-order. It's very uncommon that I pre-order, and extremely rare that I have
Blu-ray went on sale for $10 on Amazon.
This one did?
Yep.
Then I may get it for $10. That'd be awesome. It's very rare that I have 3 pre-orders in 1 month. Technically 4 if you count Skippy, which we'll get to that when it comes out finally. But we've already covered Your Name. The very next week we have In This Corner of the World. I have not seen the movie. Very few people did. It got a crap release here in this country, like most of these good movies do. But Shout Factory is putting out a Blu-ray and DVD releases I have it on order. As he said, it is cheap. It's even if you're exaggerating, I know that I get at least no more than $12. It was retailing for $15. But basically, it's a very simple, kind of a manga art style, very simple, straightforward art style about a young woman who is kind of she likes to sketch and everything, who goes to live with her husband's family in Hiroshima in 1944. Now, those of you who know anything about history know that this is a story that probably won't end well.
A bad time.
And from what I've heard, though, like that other Japan set World War II drama that everyone's seen, Grave of the Fireflies, this is apparently a brilliant and very, very well done movie. Apparently, according to the reviews, it's much less depressing than Grave of the Fireflies, supposedly. And I am not one of the people that thought the Grave of the Fireflies was the most depressing thing they'd ever seen. I thought there was a current of hope throughout that made it less so. But a lot of people didn't see that. But from what I've heard, I'm very much looking forward to this one. I'm very excited about the release, and I'm very excited that it's cheap. I only wish I could get your name as cheaply as in this one. But
not the version you're wanting to get.
Yeah, I know. And the other one I have on pre-order, I've already paid a lot more, and that's Squid Girl. But that's, yeah.
So next is Gundam.
Another opportunity to spend lots of money.
Well, if you want to collect the whole Gundam series, you're going to spend a lot of money. It's just there's so much Gundam out there. And then there's Gundam collectibles. I mean, there's all the models and everything else. I mean, Gundam...
Well, and this one has a special edition release as well as two regular editions.
If you want to get, that... I mean, Iron-Blooded Orphans, we'll just say we'll just combine the two this time, because it's Season 1, Part 1, and Part 2 come out at the same time. And this one is, about a group of child soldiers protecting a young aristocrat. Yes, an aristocrat.
Yes.
Must be a police officer.
Yes.
Seeking to liberate the Martian city from Earth's rule. When an outside force threatens those involved, Mikazuki must head into battle using war-era relics.
Mikazuki being one of those child soldiers.
The Gundam Barbatos.
Yes.
And I guess those of you Gundam fans know who the Gundam Barbatos is. Funimation is doing this release. They usually do a smart release for most of these. So for this, I mean, I'm looking at like just the Blu-ray DVD combos. So you're doing both of these. You're going to be spending essentially $100 to get the whole, which is going to be in total about 25 episodes, about $50 per half, a little bit less, but as that being said,
is that it says a Blu-ray DVD combo? Yeah.
That's not the special edition.
Yeah.
Special edition is much more.
Yes. It's special. But that's both parts, right? In one package?
It's both parts.
Okay, yeah.
So, at the same time, for me, I like to wait on Funimation titles like this because eventually they'll go down. If it's something that's likable. I have seen occasions, like with Aquarion, where they will hold forever before doing it. I'm still, waiting on Season 4 to come down. I'll probably be waiting forever. And there's
part 1.
There's part 1.
Yeah.
I like part 1. All right. There's one that you know very well.
Yeah. All right. Oh, let's get up.
That's not a bad actual, that's not too bad a price for that series.
Where is your... here we go.
There you go.
All right. So the next one, I'm a little excited. I'd be more excited if I didn't already own the original release of this series. But one of the first series that I was introduced to by the manga, and it's a pretty good manga despite its harem trappings, is Rosario and Vampire. This week's release sees the DVD Blu-ray release of both seasons, the first and Kapu. originally Funimation did big, fancy, deluxe edition set with art cards. That whole thing is just art cards. That was a waste of space.
Well, the idea is you're supposed to take the second season.
Yeah.
You're supposed to take this out, but I'm a collector, so I don't want to take that out.
So you were supposed to do that.
You take that out and you combine the two. So you have the same set.
Yeah, so this is basically a Monster Girl series that came out long before Monster Musume, where you get this guy who goes to a school for monsters, Yokai Academy, and he's a normal human. And there's a rule at the school that humans are to be devoured or otherwise eliminated. And so...
destroyed that human.
The very first thing, he meets a vampire who becomes very, very close friends with his. And being in this type of series that it is, he soon has a succubus, a witch, and a snow maiden on his side as well. But one of the cool things about the manga is that it's educational about Japanese folklore because they introduce
much better quality.
Yes, the anime is a lot of fun, very colorful, lots of great music. But to be honest, it feels like a commercial for the music.
Actually,
it really does.
You know what the manga reminds me of? It reminds me of My Hero Academia in a lot of ways.
A little bit.
Because
that was a little better.
You've got another plain guy. He just wants to do well. This one's a harem. And My Hero Academia is not. But how he goes through it after he's introduced, after you get some powers introduced and the more shonen elements come out, which they only show a little bit of in this series. This one is more to flash the boobies and...
especially for the succubus.
And for you to try and buy their soundtrack, which they should have offered... with this particular set.
That was one of my biggest issues, and they didn't do it this time around.
Nope, they did not, and I was disappointed.
Funimation should have included the soundtrack. But that
was what this was about. It was about the soundtrack.
Actually, Karumu, I keep coming back to her, and I swear it's not... but Karumu, she has a song, Nagisa no Deka no Melon, I think it was, which translates large melons at the beach. It's like the ultimate summer jam if you don't listen to the lyrics. Or if you listen and don't know Japanese. If you do, it's kind of dirty. But musically, it's like the ultimate summer jam. But anyway, we're excited about that release, but they should have included the soundtrack this time.
They should have, but... what can you do? It's like that new Kino's Journey coming. You know, that they're doing a new Kino series.
Kino's Journey is awesome, but they keep dropping the ball on the physical release, and apparently the rebooted series dropped the ball too, and it's disappointing to hear that. I haven't seen it, but I'd like to.
So, this next one, also from Funimation, is 91 Days. So 91 Days is a 12-episode series plus the OVA, which is about bootleggers and mobsters. It kind of sounds like Bakano.
Prohibition era.
But it looks more like a revenge-themed
revenge thriller.
Thriller and taking place. So not as stylish as Bakano.
I don't know about that. I mean, from what I've read and seen about it, Bakano was supposed to be pretty darn stylish, but 91 Days looks really good. It has a good rating on ANN. It just looks interesting, and for some reason, these anime companies seem to be fascinated with Prohibition-era America.
Yeah. Well, I want to watch. I mean, first off, I do need to watch Bakano.
Yeah, me
I
too.
hear so much about it. I own a copy, which, by the way, is actually out of print. So it's kind of good. Now, of course, this one...
And then, of course, I think you also own, but I also own Night Raid 1931. That's another one I need to see.
You own that. I don't.
Okay, but I need to get both of those watched, but yeah.
So, this one is yours. Season 1.
And along those lines... No. If volleyball has anything at all to do with Prohibition, no. We have a volleyball series called Haikyuu, which is a very popular series, very well liked. When I mentioned this to someone else that was coming out, and she was like, "Oh, I love that show." Sentai has released it before, But this is part of their big thing of condensing all the series into, this is like a complete collection. It's 2 sets in one. It's supposed to be a pretty good show. As sports anime go, it's one of the more popular ones of the last few years. I'm not huge on sports anime, but I will usually check something out if it's really well rated. So this one will have to happen one day. Yeah.
Is this one of those that Sentai had in a part 1 and a part 2?
Yeah.
Because, I was going to say, I've seen this before. Yeah. So this is actually them combining it. They had a 12 episode and a 13 episode set. So you get everything in one for like $60.
They also have a deluxe edition, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They've been releasing a lot of deluxe editions lately at Sentai.
Yeah.
So,
no, this is this week. Yeah.
So yes, Blue Exorcist. Yeah, you were like earlier on, like, I thought this was next week.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was next week, and I don't know why, but
Aniplex is releasing Blue Exorcist: The Kyoto Saga Volume 1, 6 episodes for the great deal on DVD of $30.
Actually, for Aniplex, this is one of their cheaper series.
Unfortunately, $30 is still quite a bit for a DVD.
And I think the Blu-ray was like 60.
60, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's
but
kind of...
But at least it's 6 episodes.
That's why my Kill la Kill is the DVD.
Yeah.
And it's the DVD because I didn't want to pay that much for Blu-ray. I got them for like $20.
Let's see what it says here about the... Okay, the Impure King story. Okay, that's what that is.
Because their DVD sets are like the barest of the bare.
Now, I think we've talked before about Blue Exorcist. Kyoto Saga takes place, I want to say it's like...
Kyoto?
Yeah, I want to say it's like the 5th, 6th, 7th volumes of the manga, somewhere around there. It's not they're taking small chunks of the series and putting them out, which is probably a good way to do it, to do a different series for each arc or a couple arcs.
Yeah.
It's a really good show. It's one of the few that I'm willing to pay Aniplex prices, theoretically.
There's too much of it.
Practically is a different thing.
There's way too much.
It's one of the few, though, that's almost worth the price. It's just... So if you have the money, Blue Exorcist is one you can invest in, and it'll be worth your trouble. The only caveat there is know what you're getting into, because it won't be for everyone.
Well, it's just like that Dora Season 2. I really hope that they'll combine that into a single set instead of make you buy like a billion volumes. At like 60 a piece, it's just like
I'm gonna hold my breath.
It's like $300 to get the whole season too, and that's way too much.
Of course, Dora is one of those ones where the titling conventions are making it even more confusing about what you're getting in the first place. Okay.
And moving on. Okay, so we're out of our anime releases. That Ninja one is also
short
in here.
Anime release. That was weird.
Oh, you get this one.
Oh boy. So, which is kind of weird because you're the one that's seen John Wick. From the director of John Wick, we have a movie that is not gotten the most praise in the world.
I want to see it.
But I want to see it. It's called Atomic Blonde. It stars Charlize Theron, James McAvoy, John Goodman, and if I recall correctly, a pretty good assortment of other. It's got a good cast. I have heard great things about John Wick. I haven't seen it yet, but Keanu Reeves is a very big reason why I haven't seen it yet. But I've heard good things about it. But Atomic Blonde is supposedly all style, no substance.
Well, that's how it is with these things.
Yeah, that's very much the impression that I've gotten. There apparently is a steamy scene between Charlize Theron and Sofia Boutella that's gotten a lot of buzz. But other than that, it'll probably look really good. And it probably will be worth watching just for the cast. Just give it one go through. Whether it'll be worth getting
for $20, huh?
I don't know. I have it on hold from the library. I'm like number 102 in line, so I'll probably get it around the first of the year. Well, probably February. But anyway, I want to see this one a whole lot more, and we don't even have it in the system.
So we've got Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen, and Wind River. Wind River, I haven't heard a lot about it. I know that this is about these FBI agents. They team up with Tracker with deep community ties and a haunted past to investigate the mysterious killing of a local girl on a remote Native American reservation. Now, sounds interesting.
It does sound very interesting.
I actually like Jeremy Renner, so I can deal with that. And Elizabeth Olsen, I'm decent with that. So you've got some good, actors and actresses in this. So
and some others too. And some fun Marvel connections. You got Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Punisher all together. Because John Bernthal's the current Punisher. And Julia Jones, who's not as well known, but I actually was introduced to her by another Native American reservation set movie 14 years ago. She was in a movie called Black Cloud. It was kind of boring, but it was notable mainly for Wayne Knight and Tim McGraw. But Julia Jones is absolutely stunning woman who's a very good actress, and I wish I'd seen her in more stuff. But the cool thing about Wind River, or the important thing about Wind River, it's technically the directing debut of Taylor Sheridan, who the past 2 years has written 2 of the most acclaimed screenplays released. He wrote Sicario, which was a phenomenal film. And he wrote Hell or High Water, which was also a really good movie. And this movie supposedly is the third in a thematic trilogy with those 3. So I very much want to see it, if only to see its connection with the other 2. So it's very big on my radar. Of the non-anime this week, this is probably the one that... This and the Criterion release are probably the ones highest on my radar. But like I said, the library doesn't even have this one on order. And I'm like... Well, they don't have your name on order either, so it's like,
$20, it's not on my list for a while.
Yeah.
But, hey, Netflix maybe.
Well, I'll check it out if I can, but yeah. This one I have no interest in.
Well, this is yours to talk about. So gain some interest real quick.
Well, it's called Six Below, Miracle on the Mountain.
You may go down to the explanation.
It is technically based on a true story. Josh Hartnett plays a thrill-seeking snowboard, kind of ex-sports kind of guy. I think Mira Sorvino plays his mother. And basically he gets stranded in the wilderness, and she is heading up the search for him. That's all I really know about it. And maybe my first reaction was a little harsh. Honestly, this is one I probably could watch eventually. It just doesn't catch my interest.
It's just another one of those movies. It's not gonna blow you away, but it could be a fun popcorn flick. You never know.
I don't know. Freezing in the cold doesn't usually scream fun popcorn flick for me, but I will admit I have seen some good ones. I mean, I did go see Everest, and that was a really good movie, and so. And then, of course, this fall there's one coming out. The Mountain Between Us. That one looks very interesting. So, who knows? Maybe this one could be in that company.
Really, never know.
This one. I will still want to see the first one, but
The Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature.
It's by you, isn't it?
But actually, I have never seen the original Nut Job.
I haven't. I've never seen it.
Curious about it. It's been free on Netflix. I just have never really had the full desire. Just more like, I might watch this. I'll put it in my lineup.
It has a great cast. I mean, Will Arnett's the main guy, and there's a lot of other people in it. But
it just looks forgettable. But I mean, the original Nut Job was them basically trying to break in and steal a bunch of. It was like basically an animated squirrel-based heist film. Yeah. And this time, people are planning to bulldoze Liberty Park. What the heck? And build a dangerous amusement park in its place. Why does it have to be dangerous, like right off the bat? Can't you just give it some while to let it...
It says the evil mayor. Evil mayors don't put safe parks in.
I mean, yeah, you're talking about cutting costs or something. I don't know what they're doing over there, but apparently they got to band together to save their home. Go all crazy on them and stuff like that. This is where you're going to see some real blood in there.
So they ripped off the plot from Over the Hedge, right?
Shoot, this is like that one. What was that one where I can't remember what the guy's name? It was something nature where basically all the animals got PO'd at this developer and started basically kicking the crap out of him. Oh, what was it?
Sounds good.
It was, but it was kind of like Frogs. Frogs is another one like that, where basically you got this person who wants to destroy nature. Nature decides, no, I ain't gonna do this. So this is where you got to see a bunch of squirrels ripping some heads off and killing people and blood everywhere. This is gonna be a good children's flick.
Yeah, if you see Frogs, those folks had it coming. Anyway, so and then I get your favorite. Okay, I will admit, Amityville: The Awakening has a really good cast. I am impressed by this cast. Jennifer Jason Leigh, Cameron Monaghan, Bella Thorne. I remember there were a couple other big names, but I can't remember who they were.
That's a disappointment to the Amityville fans, though.
Yeah, from what I hear. You know a lot more about Amityville, so you could say more on that.
I mean, I've been wanting to see this because I am a collector of all things Amityville for some reason. I don't remember when I got to be that point, but apparently when I found a number of rare out-of-print ones for a couple of dollars a piece, I then said, you know what? I can just collect all of them. Mm-hmm. So now I have pretty much all of them except for this one, and there's one that was released Region 2 only, which I have no desire to get until they release it Region 1. So this has been one that I've been looking at, but I keep reading about it. I travel in those circles, and for some reason a lot of people are disappointed. But I love haunted house movies, and this is a haunted house movie. They're moving into the new house, and you got all this strange stuff, and maybe it's the Amityville house, or maybe it's not the Amityville house. You're not going to know until you buy this movie. So, support Lionsgate in their effort to drop cheap crap off. And maybe we can keep it up, keep up getting these Amityville releases. We'll do Amityville movie 5678, Amityville meets Jason, meets Freddy, meets High School Musical, and we'll meets the Nut Job. And then we'll have a great thing going on there. And if anybody wants to run with that idea, I give you permission. Go for it. I want to see it on film.
Okay.
So, Preacher, Season 2. I know you've wanted to see Preacher.
Yeah.
I actually saw a couple of the episodes. I've read the source material. I love the source material. The series is not quite that true to the source material, but it's true enough. And it's a somewhat enjoyable series. I mean, I wasn't blown away. I'm one of those few who was not blown away by the comic. But it's still decent. And I actually really like the guy who plays Preacher. It's Dominic Cooper, was that right?
Dominic Cooper, yeah.
And I actually like all these. I really wish that they would stop releasing comic book thing after comic book thing, because I used to say I'm just going to collect them all. Now I've just given up and said there's no way I can even watch them all, much less collect them all.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's that going to stop you?
So I've just kind of given up for the time being. But I'm really interested in Preacher. It's it's got a lot of this.
That's kind of random. Subtitles in Arabic, German, and Polish.
Well, you need those Polish subtitles. Okay. I mean, that's their primary.
And dubbed
audience.
in German. That might be kind of fun to watch in German, just for fun,
But very, very arcane stuff. Like a lot of these things. So if I was really ready to just jump into this series, I would definitely get in it, get on board. Black Friday rolls around, grab the DVD for a total of $10 when it comes out.
I think we can definitely look at the preview here. It says, okay, when Jesse, oh, dang it, that. Okay, you probably know how to use that better. Okay.
Well, I've got the mouse.
Okay, there we go. When Jesse Custer, a small-town preacher with a criminal past, realizes God is absent from heaven, he sets out to find him. Along for the ride are Tulip, Jesse's volatile true love, and Cassidy, a 119-year-old Irish vampire who's Jesse's best mate. The gang ends up in New Orleans, where they must dodge local gangsters, dangerous secret agents in white suits, and the Saint of Killers, an unstoppable, murderous cowboy from hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good old fun.
Anything with that phrase, an unstoppable, murderous cowboy from hell, you gotta wonder. Okay, and so now I'm commenting on a series that... Okay, full disclaimer here. I am a bad geek. I have not seen Doctor Who. I know. Yeah, I know you. A lot of you probably just shut your screens off. Well, whatever. Season 10 with Peter Capaldi as the Doctor is this week's release. It gets us largely caught up. I think we're on season 12 now, something like that.
I think I'm going to get started with the female Doctor Who, and I'll just pretend it's been the female Doctor all along. And all the males are just copycats. They can't be male. They have to be only female.
And now you've offended some people. Doctor Who, it looks really interesting. It looks really fun. But it's one of those things that's like, it's such a behemoth. Where do you even start? I mean, honestly, where do you even start?
With the recent one.
Now, one of the good things about it is that the Doctor does respawn as a new character pretty much each season. So you're kind of starting afresh with each one. But one day I'm going to launch into it somewhere and see what happens. But for those who are following the series, and especially who are fans of Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, there's a nice release this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, another one. Noomi Rapace?
Noomi Rapace, I think it is.
Orlando Bloom, I know that one.
Yeah.
And Michael Apted
as the director.
And
Michael Douglas and John Malkovich.
Has
Interesting
Unlocked.
Cast. Yes.
Which has got a girl with a gun blowing stuff away. Can't go wrong with a girl with a gun blowing stuff away.
Yeah. It's a spy thriller.
So, Naomi leads this all-star cast in an intense London-set spy thriller. She plays undercover CIA agent Alice Racine, charged with preventing an upcoming biological terror attack. But when the violence erupts, Alice realizes her CIA colleagues, Michael Douglas, John Malkovich, and Toni Collette, may be trying to eliminate her to cover their tracks. On the run, she must rely on the help of a tough cat burglar, Orlando Bloom, to survive and save the city from catastrophic devastation.
So it's a low-rent female Bourne Dandy.
I guess so, but very high-level cast.
Well, yeah, it is.
Hey, Michael Douglas, John Malkovich, Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
I guess Toni Collette.
Toni Collette's very talented.
I've never heard of Noomi Rapace. I've never heard of her.
Yeah, you have.
What was she in?
I always lose track of... Was she...
See, there we go.
She was the... I want to say she was the original Lisbeth Salander. In the Dragon Tattoo trilogy.
No clue.
I think so. I could be getting that mixed up. Sorry if I did. But whatever the case, this one I actually missed the first time I did my research. But then when I went back, I was like, okay, I'll get to that one of these days.
Let's see what it comes up with for her. Passion, Child 44, The Monitor.
There you go.
There you go. You're right.
Okay.
There. So, yeah.
Oh, that's a cool set I have.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyway.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, so I was right. Good.
And now you get the one that you thought I missed it on
Ninja Hunter.
Looks like a Funimation release.
Yeah, it's a live-action movie with ninjas and amnesia and hunting. And Tao, a ninja from the Iga clan, wakes up in a cave surrounded by dead bodies, including a beautiful female ninja. Suffering from amnesia, he can't remember how or why he's there, or if he's the one responsible for this massacre. His task at hand is to retrieve a document that will reveal the killer's identity. Who is the killer? Was one of his clan a traitor? Who is the female ninja? Okay, this one also has a little bit Bourne feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, I know almost nothing about this other than what I just read. I saw the Right Stuff had very little information on it. ANN had very little information.
Mm-hmm.
IMDb had no information. They had a page for it, but no information. So,
you know any of the actors or actresses there?
Nothing rings a couple of them sound familiar, but
you're more familiar with them.
It's so hard to get live. Wait a minute, that is animated? It looked live action.
Well, keep in mind this is Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon could.
It might be CG.
It very well could be CG.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, so obviously we know tons about this one. But if you like ninja movies, it's probably worth a look. If you like that whole kind of wah-hop and like memory loss sort of hook, give it a go.
If you like this, Amazon has also said you'll like Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Aladdin, and the Boondock Saints.
Yes, because nothing says good, warm-hearted kids film like Boondock Saints.
Exactly. Ooh, here's one I've been wanting to get.
This looks interesting.
Rigsby Bear. Rigsby Bear.
Rigsby Bear.
Rigsby Bear. That sounds like the title of, like, I guess the next Five Nights at Freddy's game. That's the new character, right? Rigsby comes in and starts, like, stuffing people down.
Well, if you read the tagline, maybe.
After being freed from the kidnappers he thought were his parents, a man sets out to make a movie of the only TV show he's ever known.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that's Rigsby Bear.
Yes.
And that's all that they've got. That's an editorial review.
I actually did look this up, and it's very Mark Hamill and who's the mother?
Danish subtitles?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. There's a lot of different subtitle options. Who's the mother? I can't remember. Well, it's Mark Hamill is the father, and I can't remember the mother, but I remember it was a notable name. But yeah, they play kidnappers who created, like, Hamill's an inventor who invents this whole program about this basically brainwashing bear that keeps the kid under control. Like, he says things like, you cannot, like, what was the example that they gave us? Something like, curiosity is unnatural. You know, that sort of thing. And it's like he basically brainwashed this kid into not wanting to leave. And then, like you said, when he grows up, he decides to do something about it, I guess. But that's all I really know about it. I looked at that and I said, that's interesting. And Mark Hamill always, is worth
It's actually, it reminds me of a little thing in, like, Fallout 4. They had this, Fallout 4 has all these little secrets and nuances, which is why I keep coming back to it, similar to Skyrim. Which is, there's this, like, audio logs of this little story they got for kids called The New Squirrel. And basically, it's this thing that teaches you, trust no one. They're an outsider, shun them. Shun them, or they will mess with you. They will take your stuff. You want to shun them.
It's especially true of squirrels.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, let's see. This is yours. Oh, this is one I know you've got on your list.
Oh, God. I saw this and I said, can we say money grab?
Didn't this come out last year?
I have no idea.
Was it on, like, TV?
Well, if it was, there are no ratings on IMDb. I looked. There are none. Okay, we have Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Well, hey.
It's an animated film from the looks of it, not very well. It does have, who plays the father? It's Henry Winkler,
Hey,
of all
that's
people.
awesome right
And
there.
also, Mariah Carey shows up as herself, but also the main character is like a young Mariah. And she wants a dog, and she has to learn to take care of another dog to prove that she can have this dog. And apparently the other dog is the dog from hell. Only it's a cutesy kids movie, so that, yeah. And of course it features original song by Mariah Carey, yes. This is basically, they took the biggest hit she's probably ever had and turned it into a kids movie. It's, some people are going to jump on this, but I'm not one of them.
Like I said, I swear I saw advertising for it sometime in the past.
I don't know.
But that's how they do it. I mean, I've seen this before, like NBC, ABC. They come up with these like kitschy little animated Christmas specials that are very forgettable. Not saying that this isn't. I mean, I'm sure this is going to be a classic.
Some of them do and I know there's going to be like a whole generation that grow up with this as like one of the movies.
There is?
Who knows?
I would like to pretend that people are just going to forget it, and that'll be the end of it. Be like, what was who? Oh, that I remember that song. Yeah, there was this movie.
Now, if you want to see a great Christmas movie that features that song, watch Love Actually. Don't
So this next one is Brothers of the Night with Stefan, Yonko, and Patrick Chihida. Director Patrick Chiha. Okay.
The first of 4 documentaries this week.
So it follows a group of young Bulgarian Roma who move from Vienna in search of adventure and freedom. But the poverty drives them to sleep with older men for money. Boys by day, kings by night, they're sucked into a lure of the nocturnal lifestyle, while striving to support their families and children back home. Here, though, they find comfort and togetherness in the ability to be young and reckless. An official selection at the Berlin Film Festival, the wild, surreal docudrama from director, well, you heard that, takes cues from Fassbender, Pasolini, and Grodecki, while forging a new, exciting narrative path of its own. So, it's about Viennese prostitutes. It's interesting how a lot of these documentaries go. I mean, I'd be curious to see it. It might even be one of those up for best documentary. I mean, you never know.
It could be from the way they describe it, but
I mean, I'm more interested in one of the other ones coming up. I tell you the truth. But this one does look interesting. It looks like one that would be nominated, but not actually win. Because I've seen a lot of them. Of course, Born in Brothels, that actually won.
That was a good one.
And that was a very well done one. So if this is anything like that, maybe that would do it. We'll see how that goes.
Right.
Speaking
I want
of,
to see this one.
Yeah, that's going to
okay.
be the one.
This is not at all okay. Some people are probably going to feel like we trivialized that subject and not this one. I did not mean to, but Fu gives his vote of confidence to this one too. This one's called Kitty, and this is also a foreign documentary, but this is a Turkish one, and it's about the cats of Istanbul. Basically, they follow a bunch of cats in an effort to tell about Turkey, Istanbul. Like, they show life in the city from a cat's eye view, is my understanding of it. And so, I mean, it just sounds cool.
Oh, yeah,
that just sounds like one I'm very curious about. Like I said, I think there are 4 documentaries this week, which is an unusually large number for 1 week. And they really do cover a wide range of subject matter. And that's one of the cool things about documentaries is it's fun to just learn new stuff you might not have thought about.
Yeah.
I'll admit this one I'm interested just because I love cats, but there's an opportunity to learn a lot about Turkey.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's kind of...
I'd love
cool.
to see it just because Istanbul is one of those, it's actually one of the older cities. I mean, you got to keep in mind that Istanbul was Constantinople, but now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. But it's been a long time gone, but, All right. With that being said, though, Istanbul is one of the older cities. I mean, it was once a big Roman city, and it was the capital of what stood for Rome. After the original Rome fell for many years, and but this is a city that's very hard to see because, like many countries under these types of religious yokes, it's quite dangerous to travel. And it used to be not as dangerous, but they've gotten a lot more anti non-us over there. So it's actually something great to be able to see something. I'd like to see them do something like this with other places, like Tehran or other places that are not quite as that bad as Tehran, like maybe some of the cities in Saudi Arabia, things like that. Places that are still dangerous for Americans to go to, but are not out of the league of Americans to go to.
Yeah.
Like I say, and that's going to be interesting. I'm curious.
Plus the cover looks cute.
It does. Oh, I get a good one.
Ah, yes.
Psycho, the complete 4-movie collection. I have seen these 4, and they got rid of the bad one, which was that terrible remake that they did, which was... Well, it really wasn't a terrible remake. It was the fact that it was shot for shot the same movie. Which, there's a remake, and then there's just totally redoing the exact same thing over again. Which is crazy. I actually did really like Psycho Part 2, and I think that 2 and 3 were actually quite well overlooked. 4, Anthony Perkins was pretty much in all but... I can't remember whether he was in the first one, but I know he was in all the others.
Yeah, he was the star of the first one.
So Anthony Perkins is in all 4 of these, and I do have all of these. If you don't have them, this is a great little collection.
The reviews I read basically were not that flattering to this release. They said Shout Factory's releases were a higher quality.
Yeah, well, that's not...
But yeah, it's a good... If you want like a condensed collection, though, that's
that's like saying that the Lionsgate release is nowhere near as good as the Criterion release. Because this is
film. Well, that's usually the case. But
exactly.
Anyway, this is a WB release, right? Yeah.
So you're getting the 4 films. It's a step above the. It's got some decent special features on it. You got making ofs. You got all of this. The transfer probably won't be as good as the Shout Factory, but if you don't want to pay $20 a Psycho movie,
Okay. All right. We got another foreign film here.
Right.
It's called The Women's Balcony, and my understanding is that it's sort of a wedding film, if I'm not mistaken. It's an Israeli film. It's set in Israel. It's I think it's set in Israel, but it is Hebrew language. But apparently it's about like the conflict between like ultra-Orthodox and less so family, a family drama. That's really all I was able to get about it. I've seen a few Israeli films, and they're generally good, and I'm always willing to try new stuff. It doesn't strike me as wedding films usually don't strike me as something that's like I've got to
great films like The Wedding Singer.
There have been some good ones, but I wouldn't call that one of them. But although that is one of Adam Sandler's better films.
Yeah.
It's not saying much, but it's true. This one I'll probably get to one of these days. Was not, of the ones this week, it didn't jump out at me the way some of the others did. But, yeah. Yeah. So, what do we got the next one?
Alright, now we're on to the next one, Aquarius.
Another foreign film.
Sonia Braga, Maeve Jenkins, Kleber Madonka, and director Philo.
No, Kleber Madonka Philo, director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm so used to these people with these one-name things, and I don't know. So, in Aquarius, acclaimed Brazil writer-director. Well, we've got that. Who did Neighboring Sounds, for those of you who saw that one, continues to examine the alienating effects of the urban overdevelopment in Recife, a Brazilian oceanfront city. Clara, a vibrant former music critic and avid swimmer, also grandmother, cancer survivor, willing lover, and widow with flowing tresses, and of course, I'm sure a billion other titles on her thing too, is the only remaining apartment owner in a gracious older building targeted for demolition by ruthless luxury high-rise developers. As the builders' tactics to remove Clara become increasingly hostile, Clara proves to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, that sounds fun.
So this is sort of like Batteries Not Included, except without the sci-fi element.
Sure.
Oh yeah, it was the same basic thing. Is you got these people that are redeveloping, that are taking this and they want to take out this old high-rise, and you got this. Now, they weren't like Miss Superstar over here who's staying here, but it's that way. But I mean, gentrification is, of course, a very controversial topic.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I mean, Richmond's got its share of gentrification issues. I mean, Churchill, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
But Kinola Bar is releasing it. Yeah. They do good releases, so I'm very curious.
Yeah, it looks interesting, definitely. A little long, but interesting. Okay, now we have another one of the documentaries, and this one is narrated by Michael Chiklis, who, if you've seen, the Gotham or The Shield or anything that he's really been in, you could see him doing a narration on a cop-themed doc. Yeah, but it's a cop-themed documentary. Basically, it says here, there's a statistic here in the description. A police officer is killed in the line of duty every 53 hours in the United States. Fallen is basically, it's about fallen officers. It's a documentary where they talk with family, they talk with friends, partners.
Okay.
It looks pretty interesting. Definitely anyone who has an interest in kind of honoring the fallen officers, I'm sure you'd want to give this one a go. I heard a comment, or actually IMDb, there was a user comment where they claimed to be one of the people interviewed for the movie, and they said that they were very, very pleased with the final product. I don't know. You can take that as a good sign or a bad sign. I don't know. But it definitely looks like an interesting topic for a documentary. It's something that I think a lot of people probably should put some mind to. And if they did it well, that would definitely be a worthwhile one to look at. Yeah.
All right. The Samurai gets another release on Criterion. This is a new one, because they have had a release before on Criterion.
I thought they had. I was curious.
This might be the first time on Blu-ray.
That might be what it is.
But I have seen it on Criterion before. Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say about this that hasn't already been said. I mean, I'm actually quite awesome about the Jabberwocky news.
They're doing Jabberwocky?
Yeah, Jabberwocky is getting a release too.
Well, that'll be coming up soon, won't it?
And the Criterion sale is on.
Yeah,
so it's in time for that. So you'll be able to still get that.
As you will see on our other video from this week.
I haven't gotten anything from that yet, though. I have a couple of things that I'm looking at from that. I'm not really. I don't know a lot about this. If I recall correctly, this is a French film?
Yeah.
And
I like French films.
from what
Jean-Pierre Melville.
From what I've heard, it's not all that pretentious or boring.
No, it's supposed to be pretty good.
Because it's supposed to be somewhat action-oriented.
A razor-sharp cocktail of 1940s American gangster cinema and 1960s French pop culture, with a liberal dose of Japanese... interesting.
And of course, right now, Amazon has it coming out for $22, which is about as cheap as you're going to get. You're not going to get a price that cheap.
If you go to your local Barnes & Noble, you get it for $20.
Woo!
Yeah, Blu-ray is $20 usually.
What is that? Twin Peaks. All right, let's see.
Fire Walk with Me?
Yeah, let me see what that is, because that's also $20.
That's an interesting
movie.
Yep,
I mean, they're just a little bit more expensive, but yeah. So, now mine, Gilbert.
Another doc.
Another doc, Gilbert Gottfried, with people like Jay Leno. He got in trouble a while back, but most people know him because his voice is kind of,
Once you've heard it, you never forget it, no matter how hard you try.
Actually, I was watching an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, and he was in there. Yeah. It was interesting. It's just because of some of the things he's done, he can't be kid-friendly anymore, so therefore he's out. Not that he was very kid-friendly to begin with. If you really watched his stand-up, gosh, he was raunchy. I would be curious about this. He's an entertaining character.
And yet a whole generation knows him as the voice of the sidekick character in a Disney film.
Or Affleck Duck.
Yeah.
Affleck Duck.
Well, that's a little bit later. But actually, this is like 2 years in a row where he's been in a documentary, and it's kind of interesting. Like, the scene with him in Life Animated was like one of the best scenes in that whole film. That was really interesting, but...
Well, he's a great actor. Yeah. They got to give him credit. Now, it's like I said, one of the things I liked about the Are You Afraid of the Dark role is, for once, though he did go to his characteristic, thing. It's like, what are you complaining about? These like loud, like. Yeah. But he also, he had this. He took on this voice because he's trying to call these people basically to this place to pass on, these spirits that got lost. And he's got this calm, cool, smooth voice calling them in, which is so un-Gilbert Gottfried-like. It's worth seeing. If you've got that series, you should go back and look at that episode. So, last but not least.
And this is a long video this week. Chasing Valentine was one that I did not see a huge amount of detail that stuck in my brain. I think he plays... what does he play? He's like a guy who's doing something bad.
Guy who's doing a thing.
Yeah.
with the girl.
Okay. So he's unable to get over the tragic loss of the love of his life and stuck with a day job of editing adult videos. Chase meets an unlikely ally, Valentine, a call girl who works under various personas she's created for herself. Is Chase ready to uncover Valentine's dark secrets?
No.
That sounds like the tagline to a porno, but it's probably not. It actually looks like it could be a decent movie, but it looks like it's not one that's going to be a priority.
I've never actually heard of Wow Now Entertainment.
No, I don't think I have either.
But, hey.
That's a short movie. Less than an hour and a half.
You get a lot of these new studios that just like pop up for 1 or 2 films lately.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So there we go.
That's it for this week's running through. I'll be a little bit more prepared for the next one. But we'll see you next week, and be sure to subscribe, like our video, comment. If you have any comments about this, let's say you love Pokemon and you were like offended by that, write your offense. I don't care. I just want to see some comments going down here. If we miss one, sometimes we miss one. We do some investigation and I look over and something else came out and I don't remember that. It's something that is definitely something I'd like to see. So subscribe, share it with your friends, invite them to our page. We'd love to have you in our slowly but surely growing family. Bye,
everyone.